The big brother to the VP9, the VP40. HK set the bar really high with the VP9 series. Just an excellent striker fire pistol. It's one of those kind of pistols for me that when I go to the range, I shoot it a lot more than I anticipate that I expect to. I mean, I would go through just tons of rounds and find myself going down and shooting that at the range more than about any other handgun. And so when they came out with the VP40, I was really excited because, you know, the 40 caliber gives you a little more ump. And you know, it's just a really solid round, used really by a lot of law enforcement agencies all over the country. And so when they came out with the VP40, I was really excited about getting my hands on it. It's gone through a lot of the similar tests that the VP9 went through. With this barrel system, 90,000 rounds through the VP9. The VP40 has also been tested extensively with all the different NIJ tests, with the NATO test, and a lot of other things. I mean, this is really a solid firearm. And of course, HK never does anything halfway. The HK VP9 is one of those pistols that just really fits me. I love this pistol, and anyone that I know that has shot this pistol typically has gone out and bought one. Many of my friends just going to the range and shooting this, it wasn't long before they had one for themselves. It's just an excellent, very ergonomic, great shooting pistol. Really high quality with HK, and it's going to last forever. I mean, these things will just last. And you know, HK is just legendary for the quality of their firearms. And so when they came out with the VP40, I was really excited. Now, this is, of course, 40 caliber is not quite as popular as 9mm, but it is hugely popular and has been very popular with law enforcement because of the effectiveness of the round. So first we're going to go ahead and safety check because we're going to talk about the magazines. Magazines out, no round in the chamber. You get 13 round magazines, and of course if you're in a state that's not so free, 10 rounds, which H&K will provide. They do provide 3 magazines instead of the traditional 2, which makes it really nice because these magazines are not inexpensive. I purchased 4 of these a few weeks ago for about 50 bucks a piece, and that was the cheapest I could find them. The magazines are, of course, all steel construction, made in Germany, and have a nice polymer base plate that fits really nice in the pistol. It's been since the 70s that HK has produced a striker fire pistol with the VP70 and the V7. And so they've been producing hammer-fired pistols, double single action. And you can take a look at this, and it draws a lot of inspiration from the P30 design. This is really, the frame itself is pretty much exact like the VP9. But, you know, and the VP9 definitely takes from the P30. But the ergonomics on the P30 really surpassed most of what HK had already done. So really, I'm glad they incorporated it into the VP series. It is a little different, and I think really superior on the VP9, VP40 with the texturing on their frames. But it's just a very finely finished polymer frame. Of course, we're going to look at the grip panels. There are additional grip panels that you can change this out to, also with side panels, which really makes it very customizable. And so the grip on it here, you can make it, I mean, just putting it in your hand makes it really natural, but when really you go with the different sizes, it really will fit the hand size that you have. The texturing on the grip is really nice. One of the things about the HK P30 is that they were a little bit fine, and I noticed that when I would scuff it up a little bit, it would mark it. That's not so much with the new design, so I really like it. In fact, with the P30 SK, they had gone more with the VP9 style or the VP40 style. I will be using VP9 in and out while we talk, but mainly because they're so similar. But there are some differences. But one of the big things about the HK VP series is that it's just fully ambidextrous. Because it is a striker fire pistol, there's no external safety here on the frame. It's in the trigger, and of course there's the hammer drop safety as well. But as you notice, the slide release on either side, of course your takedown lever you're going to have just on one side, but you don't need that to be ambidextrous. Nice squared off trigger guard with serrations at the front. It's going to give you ample room for your glove. Of course, with the mag release being right here, I know a lot of guys fuss about this kind of magazine release, but to me, once you get used to it, it's so intuitive. I mean, I can right here, I just move my finger back and I can hit it with my shooting finger, which makes it nice to be able to manipulate on this side. So, or of course you can get it with your thumb. But I think once you become used to it, but whatever pistol that you're carrying, you need to be proficient with it anyway. But I've really grown accustomed to this kind of design. It does have a really nice 1913 Picatinny rail system. This rail system will hold up to 5.6 ounces, whatever attachment you put on here, and still function the gun. So it's really a very well done, well designed. It's not proprietary like some of HK's previous accessory rails, which is nice. One of the things you're going to notice though that's huge about the VP series is these cocking serrations, or charging supports is what HK calls it. Right here, bringing the slide back. It just makes it easy. It's very positive. You're gripping it. You know you've got it in your hand. One of the things too is it takes less strength to pull that back with those cocking levers. And so, you know, even shooters that have weak hands are going to be able to grab this and pull this back a little bit easier than putting pressure between your index finger and your thumb on the serrations right here. You're getting it where it's resting. It's just really a unique design. As I mentioned in the VP9 video, I didn't know if I would like it because it does stick out just a touch. But I have grown to love this feature on this pistol. But the serrations still, even if you're grabbing it here, are very well done. They're spaced out nicely. And then, of course, you have them on the front of the pistol as well. HK just has a really quality look. Their design team is just phenomenal to me. I mean, it really gives it a beautiful appearance. And yet, it retains kind of a martial look. It does have the kind of a tactical look to it. Now, one of the big differences between the VP9 and the VP40 is the slide. And the slide is actually thicker and heavier on the VP40. Now, one of the things I really like about that is a lot of pistols, Glock included, design their slides to fit 40 and then, you know, produced it in 9. And to me, that's just a little bit of excess weight and excess, you know, recoil that you could have from the slide coming back. And so with the VP40, it is dedicated for 40 caliber, whereas the VP9 is dedicated for 9mm. And of course, here we have the VP9. You know, you can see immediately, it doesn't take a lot to be able to look and tell that there is a difference in the thickness of the slide. And this really is a telltale. If you look at the front with the 9mm, and of course that's a smaller diameter barrel, you can see that there's definitely differences here. With the bullnose, it comes out thicker as well. So you're going to have a heavier slide and a little bit of a thicker frame. And of course, shooting 40 caliber traditionally being a little more snappy than your 9mm, you know, you're going to have a little more weight right there on your slide. Which, speaking of snappy, to me, the VP40 functioned very well at the range. I mean, it shot well, it shot fairly flat shooting. A little bit of that has to do, and we're going to look at the recoil system in here, but really the pistol just held and surprised me at how well it shot and kept rounds down range. We're going to fire a few rounds with the VP40, and then we're going to shoot the VP9 pretty much in the same frame just to see the difference in recoil. We're going to shoot the VP40 first. Now the VP9. VP9.
For a 40, it's not really that snappy though. I mean, it's not really nice. Not much more than 9mm, I don't think.
I think the extra weight on the slide might actually help. Because it definitely...
Like I said, I'm still a big fan of those cockineers, whatever they call them. Those really, man, I like those.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
I think the ergonomics of that pistol too is just really, really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another really excellent feature with the VP series is the trigger pull. For a striker fire pistol, this is one of the best trigger pulls for a polymer frame striker fire pistol on the market. You know, the PPQ is exceptional, and I did a direct test with the VP9 and the PPQ with their triggers, and really both had advantages. Both of them had disadvantages, but they were very slight, and honestly at the range you're not going to be able to tell the difference. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check the trigger on the VP40. One of the things about it is on a standard frame polymer striker fire pistol, when you're pulling back on the trigger, you get to a certain point and it starts to gradually build and then snap. That's one of the things that HK has done a lot to correct. And so we're going to take a look at it, bringing the trigger in. There's a little bit of take up, and then boom. Reset. Now that was kind of quick. Not super fast like a few that I've had, but it is a decent reset. Now we're going to try that again because I seem to have gone through that pretty quickly. Take the trigger, comes to a wall, and then a snap. And it is a definite crisp snap. To me, I compared this to my VP9, but I put about 400 rounds through the VP40. I've put over 1,000 rounds through the VP9, and the trigger has smoothed out. So what you're going to get is over time, shooting this pistol, you're going to get more and more smoothness out of the trigger just from use, which is typical. HK says that it has a 5.4 pound trigger. We're going to test it. Getting 5.9 there, 5.85. So I'm getting about 5.5 pounds with my trigger pull. I definitely think that's pretty consistent with the 5.4 that's claimed by HK. Now it does come in two different sight options. On this pistol in particular, it came with the night sights. It does have a nice cocking serration right there, which I really like that for one-handed reloads. But the sights do glow very well. You can get the standard sights, which actually are luminescent, but they're not tritium. And they hold up well, you know, under light. You need to put them under light to get it. And so, but you know, that's just one of the things, a choice that you can make. It doesn't have the cocking serrations. It's more the Novak slick back side. But as you can see, very exceptional sights. Accuracy testing, I was using the HPR 180 grain jacketed hollow points. Just functioned really well. HPR is just great ammunition anyway. We were shooting at 7 yards, easy to see targets, you know, and you'll see what it does right here. We're going to check the weight of the VP40 with an empty magazine, coming in at 29 ounces. The VP9 with an empty magazine. So that's a 2.7 ounce difference. And, you know, of course, all of that has to do with the weight in the slide. It does have the hostile environment finish on here, so it's going to hold up extremely well. The barrel is cold hammer forged, and it is what they call cannon grade steel. And it's polygonal grooves, and so that's really going to help in the long life of this barrel and keep it accurate longer. Now, and speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and break down the pistol. It's really easy to do. We're going to drop our magazine, pull the gun back to make sure it's unloaded. Go ahead and bring your slide back, and then bring your lever down. This is your takedown lever, and then release your slide, and then it comes off. I had some trouble with the VP9 where I had to pull the trigger, but obviously with this pistol it comes apart without pulling the trigger. One of the things too is your magazine. You cannot fully seat your magazine with the slide off, and that probably has to do with this lever being set. So that way you're not going to be able to break down the pistol with the magazine in place. Recoil spring, and of course it is one of the flat recoil springs. This is purported by HK, and I agree with that. This really helps with recoil. It absorbs the recoil differently than your round spring, and so this is going to really, it's one of their recoil managements. Of course, you have your standard Browning linkless design barrel. Again, cannon grade, hammer forward, cold hammer forged, and polygonal grooves. The interior of the pistol has been, of course, finely finished as usual. It's dirty from the range, but it's definitely very easy to see just the really good quality of this pistol. One thing that I really like that HK has done is they've beefed up their rails here, and on some of the polymer striker fire pistols, the rails just seem to be thin. These are really nice, and it's the same way with the VP9. And here your pistol is field stripped. Take your barrel, place it back in. Now the little slit that's in the guide rod, which it is metal by the way, it goes right here toward the front of the slide, and then you just rest it like so. Go ahead and bring it back over your frame. Engage your slide stop, release your lever. You're ready to go. Now when you pull the slide back, you are going to get a striker cocked indicator. So we have a cocked striker with the red, and then when you pull the trigger, it disappears. That is not a loaded chamber indicator. The loaded chamber indicator is right here, and it'll show up in red when a round is placed in the chamber. Now for me, I don't have any dummy rounds, so I don't want to test it, but at the range you can definitely see it. And it is tactile and of course visual. Now, as I mentioned, there were 2 extra back straps and 2 sets of side panels, and this is actually the large and the small. The medium is already installed. All you need is a punch, and you're going to push this roll pin through. A bench block helps, but not necessary. You're going to remove the magazine. Go ahead and push the pin through. The back panel just slides right down and off, and then your side panels will come off. Side panels cannot come off until the back strap is removed. Each panel is marked right and left, small, and all the back straps are also marked small, medium, and large. Take care to make sure to get those grooves into place or it won't fit correctly. Side panel slides right into the slot like so. Just return your roll pin. One thing, the roll pin also acts as a lanyard loop right here, and it's recessed, so that makes it really nice. Comes in a nice hard case box, close foam padding, everything's fitted very nicely. Magazine loader, your extra grip panels and your side panels, of course your magazine, and then another 13-round magazine unless you're in one of the non-free states, which they do supply 10-round magazines. Very nice owner's manual, spent shell from the factory, really nice HK safety lock. Of course this goes in my junk drawer, and an HK sticker. As far as price, on the HK website, the manufacturer suggested retail is $7.19. If you get night sights, $8.19. Street price is considerably less. In fact, I found it in a couple of locations for $5.79 and $5.89. So for a really high, and that was without the night sights, but for a really high quality pistol, guys, that is around the Glock prices. And HK, I think I would have to go with HK. Just a definite superior pistol, a better trigger, and really high performance. I mean, guys, you know I'm a Glock fan. I've got tons of Glocks, but HK, there's just no doubt it's a step above. So if you're looking for a high quality pistol in .40 caliber striker fire, the VP40, for the quality and what you get and the endurance that these pistols will go through, you can't go wrong with the VP40. The HK VP40, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
Video that gnat or mosquito.
Video the mosquito
Yeah,
flying around.
video.
Now, it's been since the 70s that HK has produced a striker fire pistol, being the VP70 and the VP70. Is it the VP? Extra 13 round magazine. Extra 13 round magazine and extra